Welcome to itdesk.tv. Now today we're going to be talking about absolute cell addressing and relative cell addressing, okay? And I'm going to give you an example using a simple spreadsheet to explain how this works. So let's explore what do we mean by relative cell addressing, all right? It's very simple. It just simply means when I copy this formula, and I want you to look at the screen, I'm going to be having employees and hours as I have on the screen. I'm going to have their relative pay rate. It just simply means for each of them, they have a different pay rate. So I'm going to put a formula in here. And whatever formula I put for the first person, I'm going to copy it down, meaning the formula must be copied relatively in terms of if I'm on F5 and I put the formula in this column, which is F6, it must use the elements that's found in number 6. That's relative. It keeps moving relative to where the information is and copy the formula down. What does that look like? And this is the relative cell addressing. All right, look at this. So I say equal to D5 times E5. Now if I copy the formula down, Control C, V, all right. Because I copied down the formula and it's done relatively, it doesn't take E anymore. It's now saying D6, which is, it's no longer D5, it's D6 because it's relative. So I copy it down. It's relative. So everyone gets paid based on the pay rate, the relative pay rate that's in the column. And if you look in the formula, you'll see that the cell address that it's multiplying keeps incrementing based on the row number that's here. This one is E6, E7, E8. That's relative. So it's copying the formula relative to the row that it's in, and it keeps switching it out. Now, absolute pay. I want to check this formula, but I want everyone to get a pay rate of $10. I don't want it to use the pay rate that's on the screen here in the E column. I want to use the same hours, but I don't want this pay rate. I want everyone to get an absolute pay rate, and that's where that word comes from. The pay rate is absolute. Use that same pay rate for everyone. So this is how we do it. You simply say equal hours times, and I click on the column for the absolute pay rate, but this time I put a $ before the column number and a $ before the row. That makes it absolute. So if this is the absolute rate, that's $10. When I copy the formula down, everyone gets their hours multiplied by the same $10 because I said use an absolute rate. So their hours remain the same and the hours keeps going relative, but their pay rate is using an absolute value, which is found here in E13. And every column you see as you look on here to what it is, it's always the row times E13 because I use the $ before the column and the row. The $ before the column and the row, and that makes it absolute. That's the difference with relative rates, no $, open it up, D5 times E5, and absolute rates, $ column, $ row. That's how it's done. itdesk.tv, unlocking doors.